Hello, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with Coach Karen, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Yes, indeedy. We are here with your money mindset coach because you know what? You need to keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind. Okay? Because, hey, you know what? These things are the reason why we are entrepreneurs. We are interested in making profits.
Mhm.
And Coach Karen is here from Profits in Daily.
Daily. Yes.
And she's going to talk to you in a way that you'll be able to understand and implement. If you're looking for Coach, I just want to say this before we even get started. She's everywhere on the web under Profits in Daily, Facebook, Instagram. You can find her just about everywhere. So look, if you can't do that, then it's Karen with the C, Coach Karen Fern, like the plant. Now you have no excuse. You know where to find her. And we want to direct you there for things about your money, be it personal, be it business. She's got some solutions for you. With that, we're going to get started. I want to give a shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups. This is the Biz Chicks. But Coach is in the house, guys. Oh, excuse me a minute. I had to get my pencil. Okay, Coach, I'm ready. I just need to make things stop dinging and pinging here. Hold on.
Let me tell you, we're finishing up this month, with Do You Want It Bad Enough? And we started off, I'm going to start right at the top. We started off this month talking, first class was Money 101. Then we talk a little bit about health. And then we talk about your wealth. And today we're going to talk about the freedom of being able to having and being able to do what you want to do. And this is all because if you want it bad enough, nothing, when you look back and you see every single thing that you want to do or have done, you had to want it bad enough. And so you went after it diligently, consistently, and focused. Because if you're not focused, you just don't get there. Just doesn't happen. I mean, we like it to, we want it to, but it doesn't happen. And a prime example, I'm doing this 75 days strong, and I did it for myself early this year, and I had such great results. I was sharing with everybody. They said they wanted joining. I know some people are watching quietly. I know some people are joining in, but I'm talking about weight. Yes, I'm talking about eating right, but I'm going to eventually on the journey. It's 75 days. I am going to talk about money in that journey because I'll pull the connection together. I'll show you how getting yourself and understanding the simple things that you're doing for you is going to lead you to this other place and just allow money to start flowing to you. So today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about explaining how free makes you feel, just the freedom of not having debt on your shoulder. That's one of the biggest freedom because it just clouds your mind. It just makes you feel so heavy because it's there and it doesn't want to go anywhere. And then what are some of the things you feel you'll be able to do once it is gone? And you can't wait till that happens. You have to have this sort of setup, right? And where would you go or who would you be if you had the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do? Now, I know we in a pandemic, and I know right now there's not a lot of things that you think you can do, but boy, I have a 21 list of things that you can do. I call it to date yourself, just to find you and look after you. One day I'm going to bring it up here. Maybe I'll bring it up on a Monday or something. But it's one of those things that you can see that you literally can do regardless of what's going on. And that's when you know you're truly free. You wouldn't feel like if you took a day off, like it would be detrimental to you. You'll start seeing that you could do it because death also make you think that you can't take a day off. And that's whether it's business or work. Because if you're off and you're working and you don't get paid for that day, you feel like you can't take it off. When you take a day off and you're sick, you're not really getting a day off. You're just resting your body because you tormented it a long time and now it's broken down and now you're resting. you're trying to build it, and a day don't do it. And usually if you want to take more than a day, you're not paid for it. And when you take a vacation, let's face it, vacations are great. My dad told me this when actually before I came to Canada, he said this to me. The reason I said, Dad, why are you taking all 6 weeks vacation, right? No, I didn't know anything at the time. And he said to me, Karen, the first 2 weeks I'm recuperating my body.
Oh.
And then the next 2 weeks I'm enjoying. And the other 2 weeks I'm positioning myself for when I return home back as he travel, I can get myself in order and get going to actually get to work. I'm not trying to get back and get to work. The man never take anything less than 6 weeks, right?
Well, Carlos says, what's a vacation?
What's a vacation? It's good for you, Carlos.
Earlier, he said he wants cake badly when you were talking about dieting.
I don't have cake for you. I like cake, but I'll be having myself. So push your cake to the side. But you know, so that you can rest, so you can recuperate. For the people who is in the grind mood, this is important. Say it, Carol.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, you get 6 weeks postpartum. After you have a baby, you get 6 weeks postpartum, meaning 6 weeks off. And I can understand that cycle. I applaud your dad. What a great example. I can't remember my parents ever taking a vacation. And as a result, I don't think I ever took a vacation till the kids were, you know, emancipated out of the household. I always sent them somewhere. I mean, they've been to France, they've been to London, they've been all over the globe. I took my vacations before I started parenting.
Okay.
But once I did, debt will keep you from.
Yeah, it comes and you cover you. And, you know, and I've had people who say to me, well, Karen, if I give that example or others like that, they'll say, well, you know, he had a job, you know, he's coming back to. My dad has always had a job and always had a side gig. Always. But he had found out, you know, he came from, you know, he didn't come from having to struggle to that extent, but he had his own struggles. Because everybody, no matter if you were poor, had your struggles, okay? But you have to come to this place. So let's start not here nor there, where you understanding that resting is part of growth. Resting is part of being healthy. Resting is part of making money. It is. It really is. You know, in every situation, you find something you want to do. You really train you really hard and understand how to do it. And then you give somebody else an opportunity to do it for you so you can make some money from it.
I love it.
You got to look at it as giving them an opportunity. You know, when he started designing shoes, he started selling shoes, then he started designing shoes, and then he got somebody a manufacturer to do the shoes, and then he got people to sell the shoes, so that although he's the owner of it, he is the one who is still able to not have to be there 24/7. And you have to start thinking about those things if you're in business, where you want it to be. Anytime somebody says to me, I want to make a lot of money, but I want to do it all on my own, I'm like, okay, the two does not connect. It just doesn't connect. You can't do that, but you can, but you're not going to get to the freedom part that you really striving for and you want to do, right? Because that's what we're talking about today. When you're in debt, the struggle feels like you can't come out of it. The struggle feels like there's a tomorrow, but tomorrow with more struggles, not tomorrow where I'm seeing the light. Here's the hardest part. Two things I'm going to talk about. And one is going to be about budget, because most of us know about budget where it's just a budget. But I was working on developing this thing that's called the starter and the intermediate and then the future. Because if you put them in all three sections, I've been testing people with it, and they're more excited versus just this plunge into a budget, because it's getting their fuels going, especially the people who's not doing a side gig yet, or is doing a side gig, but it's not bringing them the money they thought they would have gotten out of it. And it's getting them back in that funk. We're working on these three sections because they're getting excited with the future money and the intermediate money. Because sometimes when you're just right here looking at what's in front of you and it's not exciting, it's hard to see anything else. It's really hard to see anything else. That's number one. And two, when the only thing you're doing is about the money, you also don't go very far. It feels like it at the time, but it tires you out over time. I had somebody who just came to work for me, and I had to let him go because he's just after the money. So he's missing everything else. He just can't work for me because it's not I pay well. So I'm just going to say that right now. I pay well, so I'm not really worried about that. But if I'm paying you well, and I know I'm paying you up above what you used to get, no, you can't be hounding me for more money. That's not how it works. So I had to just sever ties, pay him off. He's getting paid net tomorrow. Thank you, Lord. And we're done.
In business, sometimes you have to pay people to go away.
Yes. It's not working out. Okay. Because sometimes when people see you or know your status or something, they just feel like you look like money. And it's like, how much money can I pull off of her or him or whatever the case may be? You can't do it unless I allow you to do it. All right. Finish ranting. Back to it. It just brought back our pits.
I hear you feeling some kind of way, as they say.
Girl, I was like, no, you don't. No. All right. So, when debt is holding you down really tight, it's really, truly hard for you to see the freedom on where you can get to. I'm going to go straight into the worker. If you're looking for freedom and your budget is so tight that you're saying, I don't have enough to even cover the basics, it's really, really taking the time to sit down with a pencil and paper and getting to the bare bones. What could I survive eating? Because that's a big chunk of our bills is food. What can I survive on really well in this part of my budget? What is the things I can do in this other section of my budget? Because if you don't address it, it doesn't go anywhere. And then the numbers keep playing around in your head over and over, and you feel like you're not getting ahead. That's the first part. The second part is if you set up your budget where there's that debt section and you have that and you're paying that down, you still need to give yourself, whether it's a 1 or 2% of some kind of a saving, some money that when you put it here and you don't touch it, you can attach it. Like I talk about in my principles, that's in your purse, but somewhere else, like to have it there so that it can grow into something else. It's so simple, but it's so hard. I want anybody listening to this replay or catching us here to understand. I understand it's hard, and I'm saying it simply, but I understand it's hard. Really, truly, I understand it's hard.
Hello, Cecilia. Good morning.
Hi, Cecilia. But when you get there, it just shows you that you're able to do more than you think you can do. But because it's in your head and you didn't put it down on paper and you didn't get it sorted out, you think you can't get it down. And I'm going to give you a tiny bit of a case study. This is a live person. I can't call people's name, but that we had to have this done. She's got a business and she's seen in the business, she says, Karen, the money is so tiny, there's nowhere to go. And we sat down and it took 90 days. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you anything happened faster than it does. Very honest with that. It took 90 days. We were in April, so another 30 days. And she's starting to see the light. There is money in the bank account. She has never had money. She said the bank account at one time had $100 and she was jumping up and down. And right now in the business bank account, we've got 600 and plus in there. Now, I know it's not a big number, but this is a number that never stuck in her account for this amount of time. The money is there. The business is showcasing a profit. This is beyond her labor hours. This is beyond her owner's draw. This is 600 and whatever change that is in the bank account that was not there before. But she was willing. She was understanding that we had to go through this hard part where we lay everything on the table. We are where we are. We can't be anywhere else. And we find a way because we go through everything. We understand what we're doing. The reason we needed to find that money is because that money we need to use at least half of that money towards bringing in new business. She wasn't able to bring in new business because she can't advertise, she can't do anything because she is so stuck where she was. So we have to free up money so that this is a possibility, so that now she can see that this can really happen. So we're into vision mood right now. We're into where we go next, where we're going to bring business in. But it's exciting. I'm always excited. She's getting excited. We're excited because she's getting relief. The shoulders are not as heavy as it was before. She's seen there's some light within the tunnel. She's not in the end yet. She's within the tunnel. We're in the intermediate stage. We're planning for what's going to happen for the next, this quarter. We got 2 more months in the second quarter coming up. We're seeing that there's progress to be made. She's been feeling it. She knows it. But it was hard to take out that little tiny bit, because in her head, she says, Karen, what the truth is? In my head, I keep saying, what is $25, $24 going to do? What's $48 going to do? And we started off with $24, $48, and then we were saving $108. Like those little bit that we climb on top of each other is what's getting her there.
Yes, Cecilia says, every time I save, something happens where I need to spend it. So now let's talk about that, because
Right.
The devil is a robber.
He is. So I say that when that happens, my thing is, and same with this example I'm sharing here, if you were going to save $108, but in your head that you can let $58 go, then you're not touching the 50. It didn't matter what happened. I promise you, if you didn't have it, somebody else, some way, somehow it would have been fulfilled. So we're looking at that 108 that I have her saved as $58 as petty cash in case something happened. All you got is $58. Next round, you'll have 116 in case something happened, but you'll still have your $100 saved. You see what I mean? You can't touch it.
So let me see if I understand. So you're saying they should be saving like $58 a month or $58?
Well, in her scenario, because we went through the budget, I would have to see what people have before we can decide on a number.
So they pick a figure. Let's say it's $25 a month.
Yes.
Okay. So the next month they would have $50, but $25 they could not touch under any circumstance.
You could not touch. And let me tell you, again, I'm saying it easy. I'm going to tell you how hard it is. Whenever you are trying to save, if you're young, your kids is going to come to you. If you're young, they're going to need diapers. Milk going to run out. Milk is going to raise an extra $1 or $2 right here. See what with my granddaughter and my daughter. Every single thing is going to happen that tells you this is the money you have, and you have to have it go. Even myself, me and my husband, we come and we working, and every money we made went to our bills and our son. We only had one child at a time. And I sat him down and I said to him, this is the last paycheck that I'm spending every penny. First thing we're going to do, you're going to get a coffee and an ice cream bar. So am I. You're going to get $10 and so am I. That's it. And then we'll pay the bills. And we started off, and he was fighting me with this, fighting me down to do this. He said, Karen, how are we going to do it? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're not moving. So we're going to look for a new babysitter, because after school, we're late. We're coming home around 9 in the night. We needed an after school babysitter. We start searching. We find somebody that was $25 less. He's like, oh, we're going to finally breathe. I say, you're touching that extra $25. He's like, what? No. You're not touching that extra $25. Let me tell you what happened. That $25, we put it down there. My friend had a headache. She needed medication. Something happened at the school, and everything was surrounding this $25.
Everything was coming for it.
And my husband said to me, he says, Karen, you can't see somebody need medication and you don't buy it for them. I said, you're right. This is a possibility. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call all her kids to find out who's got money enough to make it $25, because it's not my $25. It is not mine. It is just not mine, because I've just figured out how to have $25 saved, and I'm not touching it. Let me tell you, that $25 cost so much strive, but I was determined. I wouldn't move. I wouldn't budge. He could have given up his $10 and his ice cream money and his coffee money, but I am moving from that $25 because I didn't move.
And a lot of times if we just play games with our head, had we spent the $25, it would not have been available.
But all of a sudden, and the things come that is so important, and I'm not saying they're not important. My thing was, I said to her, I said, you're going to have to calm down. You're going to breathe easy. You're going to put a towel on your head. You're going to, and just start talking down and pray and what have you. And her head did subsided. The point I'm making, though, is this is the attack that happens. If it wasn't a friend, it would have been myself. If it wasn't myself, it would be my son. It would be my husband. The attacks are real. I want you to know that I know that they are real. But I also want you to know you're going to have to be strong enough to get past the first. It's only the first. The first attack is the most
powerful. Well, here's the thing. My brother finally said to me in my 50s, after, a number of crises, he said, Terry, everything is not for you to fix. Cecilia, everything is not for you to fix, baby. It's okay.
Yep.
There
You don't have to fix everything.
Can you leave something for Jesus to do?
And know he will do it.
Okay.
And know he will do it. He will do it.
Give people opportunity to exercise their faith.
Yes. And he will do it, because the same person I'm talking about, I had spent oodles of money on this woman before in different areas. She had gotten me so broke, I didn't know where coming from, because everything she needed, I fixed. And then I calmed down and I pulled back. So it's not, I'm not talking out of, I'm being vicious and don't want to help.
Or not having been through it.
Yes, I'm a natural helper. Trust me, it is still hard when somebody come to me for money and I can afford to give it to them. I don't give it to them, but I understand what I can't do anymore. I understand that I'm not even helping them. I'm taking away from their journey. I'm not allowing them to get through their journey.
Exactly. You have to allow people to come to the end of self. Okay. And stop, trying to be a superhero for everyone. First, can you be a superhero for yourself?
Yes.
Can you get across the bridge before you try to pull somebody else over?
Because the bridge is going to break down because you didn't test it out to make sure it's strong enough for you to run over. And that's a fact. And it really lightens the load when you start understanding. You got to understand, there's people who, it mightn't appear like this to you, but they are so, I had a client admit to me 3 weeks ago, no lie, that she gets joy out of making people feel sorry for her. Like, I finally lead the conversation around and I'm like, if you're not honest, we can't keep working together. She says, I do that. Like, just she talking to me, allow it to come out. I do that. Wow. This is her MO. This is what she does. So people,
that's kind of scary. But girl, I never met anybody like that. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I knew, but not to the extent she explained. Anyhow, but if you really have to get to this place where you're like, this is what I can do, and what would you be? What would it look like? How would you feel? Once you get there, how would you really see yourself once you are in this freedom space where you're just allowing things to be? And just allowing yourself to be free enough to get to wherever it is you want to be. That's business or personal. People being in a job, I told a friend this the other day, she said, but that's what the rich do. I'm like, regular folks who don't want to have a business still need a bookkeeper. At least they need a bookkeeper to come and get things together. And then they don't need like businesses, how we would bookkeep for businesses monthly. They might need every quarter. They might need twice a year or once a year. But even if you have a job, you should get a bookkeeper. You don't even have to get an accountant if you don't need it right away, but you should get a bookkeeper. You should get somebody to sit down with you, clean up your books. And if you don't have books, let them help you set up your books. Because bookkeeping, accounting, other than the nitty-gritty, I'm not going to get into the details with you guys what that is, but really and truly, it's a matter of expense and your income. That's the main thing we focus on. That's what we look at. We look at where things are going. We look at not paying attention. My husband is not a guy who pays attention. So He hates when I at the cashier and said, "Can I have the bill?" If they're not giving me my bill, he's like, "What's the big deal?" Well, I keep books, so it's a big deal. It's not about being mean. It's for me to understand, to look after my pattern. That's what bookkeeper help you. A bookkeeper help you to see your patterns, to see how you behave, how you manage your money, where it goes, why you're doing it, what emotions you're feeling. A good bookkeeper will ask you a lot of questions that you might make you uncomfortable, but he or she is really want to get to the place where they can explain how you can make some changes and how this will work better for the money you're bringing in.
Wow. Now that sounds like a decent investment to invest in a bookkeeper. I never thought about it just for personal finances. I
Right?
always thought about it, for business, but I never really thought I might need a personal bookkeeper. Oh my gosh, because that's not my forte. I have it under control. I'm filling out forms so that I can see where it's going. But to have a conversation with someone who knows more than I know, it's always a good thing.
You
You
know,
know,
she will tell you. She will sit you down and tell you. I know some bookkeepers offer it. I know I'm gonna be offering it because it's just part of the thing that I recognize. If somebody, here's the other part too. If somebody understands their self before they start a business, they'll also know how they'll feel doing, running, and keeping prosperity in their business, keeping their business profitable.
uh-huh.
Making sure their business is profitable. If not, why your business? Got to be profitable. So
A profitable business that's fun to
fun to
run
run.
and take the hassle out
Out
of
of
your
your hustle.
hustle. That's why we're here, guys. Oh my
So,
goodness.
so if you want it bad enough, you gotta see. You have to see. You have to understand. You got to go through these processes. There's no hurried up. Somebody like me who been through things, or Terry, or Fran, who knows certain things, we bring you here and we pull it together. But you yourself still have to either sit with the professional, or you have to sit with pen and paper and really ask the hard questions and get to the answers. And I was telling Terry before, I've realized that I needed to really walk people through this practice where they have a realistic starter earnings. Because sometimes if you don't have a job in your business, you come up with this great idea, but I want to make $1 million. I like the people who say to me, kind of just want to make $1 million. I'm like, so how much you making right now? They don't know. Or if they know, it's a falsified number. It's a makeup number. When we get to brass tacks,
falsified number.
yes,
Say what?
it's not a real number.
Okay. Isn't that special?
Right? So I've decided I need a realistic starter earnings. So if you know that, even if you don't know, we work through all the processes, and I will say to the client, I said, girl, you can only pay yourself $25 an hour. Girl, you could only pay yourself $15 an hour.
Okay.
This is it. And everything you do, so you understand. But I'm making enough to pay myself $25 an hour. You can't. We just run the numbers. If you pay yourself $25 an hour, the business won't have a profit. Which means the business can't grow without a profit. Which means there's no money to put back in the business. So,
correct.
Girl, you can't pay yourself $25 an hour. I know it sounds harsh, it's feeling hard, but it's okay. What's the ideal number you really want to make, though? And then the person said to me, $65 an hour. I said, good. So you start there and we'll get you to 65. That's the intermediate earnings. So you're in the middle of the earnings you really want. What you ultimately want, which is the future earnings, the future. I would love to make $1,000 an hour. I said, good. But Karen, I don't think people can make that kind of money. I don't care about the people. You can't. So if you're looking to make $1,000 an hour, how do we get there? But we got to start at the earnings where you could make right now. If you have an Etsy shop, what it is per hour until I get you to per project, because per hour really is a transition from a job to your business. And once you understand your hourly wages, then I can transition you into per project. So you got money coming in now per project, which is much better, by the way, because I love that one. Just say it.
Okay, she just said, I love it. Well, you know what? We actually teach a smart money management class over at the Genesis School of Business. So I'm going to put and entrepreneurship. So I'm putting that in there. That's our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And so every Tuesday there are classes where we teach money from a biblical perspective.
Right.
So if you are interested in that, guys, I want you to know about that. And you can go and watch some of the replays from that. But I'm telling you, you need to talk to somebody who knows a little more than you when it comes to money. And that person would be Coach Karen with her accounting background, with her extensive experience in business. She's run several successful businesses and is still running businesses today. So this is a resource. And so I want to say to Pat and Cecilia and Carlos and all of you who are watching on the replay, don't overlook this resource. Connect with her on her Facebook page or on her YouTube channel. And on her Instagram, and you're going to find this to be invaluable, just like she's been today. Debt is not your friend. That's what we learned today, right? Debt is not our friend.
No, we're looking freedom from it. Too much bondage. It's way too much bondage.
And it will blind us from making money in our business because
it does.
So consumed with the debt over here, we don't want to take the profit and invest it back in the business because we think we need to service the debt. And I notice that that's an interesting term, isn't it? Service the debt. In other words, serve debt. So debt will make you a slave to it.
Because if you don't do it properly, you're right back in the hole as quickly as you came out. This is the other part. You're right back. And everybody want to clear the debt and good credit score so they can build back credit. I'm not telling you none of that is wrong, but I'm telling you it's deeper than that. You got to figure out what started the sore. We used to call it a sore, but you get cut and get infected. And you're like, I don't know why. You need to know you got bored by a nail. Was it a piece of glass? Was it a brick? Was it a knife? You need to know what cut you. So that you can know how to treat it, because there's different treatments. You can go to the doctor and they're all going to give you something. Let me tell you about a home remedy. For example, if you got cut with a glass, you're going to want to, if you're in the West Indies, get, spider web, the cobweb, and you put in there. And you put that in there in something we call methylated spirit. And it's something like rubbing alcohol. And you would bandage it and take it off twice a day. And that thing heals the skin back together and look after the pus. So you're in there deep working on it. If you got stick by a nail, you want to use something we call soft grease. I think over here they call it something candle, but it's made with, I'm not gonna tell you what, but it helps you with the inflammation. So you're looking after the core. So same with money. If somebody gives you people this stupid question online, if I got $500 now, what will you do with it? And people tell you, I'll pay off debt, I'll do that. Don't. If you got $1,000, do not pay off debt. Sit with it, find out what you corely need, find out how you can make it grow. And if you must, then you'll take probably like a 200 or something towards it. But you're not covering that, because what you would be doing is covering down whatever is underneath. You won't be fixing the problem. You'll be covering it down. Most people think that if I pay off my debt, I'll be free. You know what happens when you pay off your debt? You feel so free that you do nothing and you incur more debt because now you're freely doing nothing. But if you pay attention to the core and you understand what got you there, you're going to work diligently to never return there ever, ever, ever again. I'm finished preaching.
That's Coach Karen, and she is complete. Do you want it bad enough?
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we do. And we are willing to do the work to get it done.
Yeah, that's the key, doing the work.
Part of the work is all of this internal stuff that we're feeling about our finances.
Yes.
Woo! Oh my goodness.
All right.
All right.
April was good.
It was good. It was really, really, really good. So I want to remind you that Coach is over here. You can find her on the web under Profits in Daily.
Yeah.
And that's Coach Karen Fern with a C. All right. So if you're Googling her, you can find her, Coach Karen Fern, Karen with a C, at the Money Mindset Academy. Oh, we are just so blessed today. We thank you, Coach. And we will be looking at your website, Profits in Daily, and learning how to do that with our businesses. Also, guys, I hope that you got a number of tips so that you can improve your personal finances. Remember, tomorrow we'll be here with Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends.
Right.
I got that out without stumbling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah,
Happy
I know.
Healthy Habits. Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Dr. Rogers will be here tomorrow, so you want to tune in and find out some interesting facts about how to maintain your health. Because if you don't have your health, you can't keep your wealth. So remember, go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.
Great day.
Thank you again, Coach, for
You're
all
welcome.
that you do.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone.